sensitization workshop was done here at Atlantic, basically to help us understand how the whole ECOWAS system do work. And we would want to speak with some of the speakers to also have a basic understanding of why such a workshop was set up today. And then any other question we have about ECOWAS, we can at least speak with them and then have a better education on it. In the meantime, I would want to speak to one speaker. He's in the person of Mr. Freehat Della T. Right. Okay. He's the director, Regional Integration Bureau. All right. So we are talking ECOWAS, and at this point in time, this conversation is very key as we see a lot of coup happening in our neighboring countries. This workshop has become key for us. We'll draw closer and begin our interaction with Mr. Freehat. All right, Mr. Freehat, hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm good.
Now, what is the purpose of today's workshop?
The purpose of today's workshop is to create awareness among the Ghanaian citizenry. We want Ghanaians to own ECOWAS. ECOWAS belongs to us. For the past, ECOWAS has always been at the national level or governmental level. Meanwhile, the effect of the objectives of ECOWAS is for the development of the West African sub-region. So the main reason why we are here is to make sure we make the Ghanaian feel being part of ECOWAS and then understand the principles and objectives that establish ECOWAS. Look at the challenges we are facing and the way forward.
All right. Since we also aiming at ensuring that there is a smooth cooperation among us to ensure exchange of ideas, business, and the likes, how is that cooperation going? Are we seeing improvement? If we are seeing improvement, specifically in what area are we seeing improvement?
Yeah, in 1975, when the idea was muted, most of the developments today were not in place. In the presentation by Media Response, you can see that he talked about a number of organizations that are set up. He did mention the COVID-19 and the interventions that were made by ECOWAS. The problem with ECOWAS is we are not able to tell the people what we are doing. That is the reason why we are here now. We have come to realization that the people don't really know what is ECOWAS, apart from what we just learned in the school. So it is our responsibility now to tell Ghanaians what ECOWAS is doing. So basically that is why we are here. Yeah, we have actually identified our shortfalls and we want to make ECOWAS people-driven instead of state-driven.
This is a workshop that actually invited some specific stakeholders. I don't see so much of the, let's say, the general public. I see people belonging to some specific institution and the likes. So beyond a stakeholder workshop like this, how are we also transforming the message beyond the stakeholder level to the ordinary Ghanaian to also appreciate how ECOWAS works?
Interestingly, that is what you are doing now from the media. You are carrying the issue beyond this conference room to the society. Also, we have other civil society groups who are here listening to us. So the media really, you have a role to play. You really have a role to play. And I want to entreat you as a media that it is time some of our compatriots start training themselves on these regional integration issues and champion them. We were talking about lacking Ghanaians in the ECOWAS. If you make yourself an expert, job opportunities could be there. I will also suggest any day that our educational system must also be tailored towards our regional organizations so that we can have an idea about what the organization can offer. And all this will go a long way. But with us here, I can assure you, apart from this workshop, ECOWAS has been to the market to talk to the society.
When you say market, which market? Takoradi market, Circle, which of the markets are we talking about?
To-do market, we were at the to-do market. You know, that's where you have a lot of the cross-border operatives who do their work. They go to Togo, some go as far as Burkina Faso. We have the cross-border market operative. We also have a group, an association that will normally take our officers from the bureau to go and interact with them so that their questions will be directly addressed. And they are also educated. So we've had several interactions. At the bureau, we have officers from time to time, coming over. So all the previous officers, since 2012, we've been doing a lot of market interaction, lorry stations where we have cross-border drivers who go across the border all the way to Lagos. And these are people who encounter all the challenges of the free movement, persons and goods and all these things. So they are able to have an opportunity to express their challenges, and then those that needs to be addressed. Those that needs to also be taken into consideration at the higher level are also taken into consideration. Currently, we are very happy to have on board our officers from the Regional Integration Bureau of Ministry of Foreign Affairs who are with us here on the ground. So they are also, like as we speak now, it's not every challenge that can be addressed right here at a meeting like this, but they've taken note of all these things. They will also take it along, and then as we go on, we will see a lot of changes. They are always, ECOWAS is not a static institution. It is an institution that is always bringing about reforms and trying to address issues based on the feedback they get from the ground and the community citizens. So we are also assisting as a civil society organization to ensure that there will be a bridge. There is always a bridge that is not only about officialdom and higher level meetings, but it's also a matter of getting down to the citizens in order to get their input and also their contributions, so that our countrymen can also and women can also benefit from the tremendous, there's a tremendous resources within the sub-region, and there are mechanisms which are easily accessible that must be taken advantage of. Issues of youth unemployment, issues of women and gender issues, issues of human rights, and all these things are addressed within the ECOWAS protocols, and there are functional institutions that are working. So we also need to look beyond our current government to resolve some of our
if a youth is listening to me at this point in time, and then I want to tell the youth that this is what you can take advantage of. This is ECOWAS. What do they take advantage of?
You see, ECOWAS, in fact, the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Development Center has a lot of programs. They have a lot of interventions that they do. What we advise is that as a youth, try and research. Go on the website of ECOWAS, zoom in on the ECOWAS Youth Development Center, and then you will be able to see their programs that they have outlined in various member states. And you can see that Ghana, this year, there will be certain activities, certain calls for proposals, certain interventions, certain institutions that are going to be supported by the ECOWAS Youth Sports and Youth Development Center. So as a young person, you try and align, follow up, look at the ministry or department that is implementing any activity or any intervention from any of the ECOWAS institutions that has to do with youth and sport. When you go to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, they may have an ECOWAS protocol that they are implementing, or ECOWAS activity, or ECOWAS funded activities. But you will never know this until you make that inquiry. Go on the website of ECOWAS, follow up on some of these places. And then also the ECOWAS Commission has a commissioner who is in charge of youth development. If you go on the website, you can link up with that individual over there, and they will increasingly, especially we encourage young people to join youth groups and associations. They must form groups in the areas of their interest so that collectively they will have a bigger voice, and then ECOWAS will listen to them instead of trying to work as an individual in a small corner.
Ghana hosting the secretariat of the Free Trade Center. To the youth, you hear this, everyone talking about it, a very powerless youth. How do I equally take advantage of such a center?
Thank you very much. Like I'm saying, it's always good to work in a group than individual. As an individual, you may not be able to, your weight, your punch will not carry the weight. We have a lot of youth-oriented organizations like the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. The Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs is opened towards assisting young people who wants to set up and grow. Ghana, we have a very mobile economic system. If you're a young person, you need to join an association who are also connected with the Africa Trade, and they will carry you, like you just ride on their back. So please, look for these institutions, join them, don't work alone.
Yeah, before we go, let's touch on one major issue that we can actually leave. We also live in an environment where, as I said, there are a lot of coup happening around us. People feel that ECOWAS is not being efficient in dealing with this situation. It is not stopping. It keeps coming. So some would even say that it looks like the leadership of ECOWAS is failing us because we don't see improvement with what is happening. It keeps happening. And then people feel that the junta are being emboldened to continue doing what they are doing. What do you say about dealing with coup as far as ECOWAS is concerned?
Like I said to the earlier questionnaire, I may prefer that we handle this after good governance. I said that because after good governance, things will be more clearer. We'll get to know whether ECOWAS is being able to bite or not. ECOWAS has been very excellent. But for ECOWAS, the number of coups in the region will have been more. It will have been more. So ECOWAS is doing very well. And when somebody talks about sanctions not working, if you are not in the oven, you will not know how hot it is. The sanction is really telling on the nations that we have sanctioned. And in the afternoon, I'll come back to that and you will understand better.
What do ECOWAS normally do when you see some of these factors so clear, glaring in our eyes? What do you normally do?
Yeah, we spoke about African peer review mechanism. You can only warn, you can send signal to them. But then, preventive is a very difficult thing. When we talk about sovereignty of nations, nations have decided to come together to do 1, 2, 3. But no nation has said, I'm giving my independence to you. So you decide what happens within my geographical borders. That is where the difficulty is. We as Africans, we as Ghanaians, we cannot go to Burkina and overthrow the government of Burkina. Mind you, when all the coup d'etats happened, they had the support of their people. So where are you going to? Are you getting it? This is the difficulty we have. Everybody knows it will happen. I can assure you that as we speak now, we know there are areas which are boiling points. But then, you can only advise, you can't impose. So that is the issue. Even though ECOWAS protocol clearly spelled out that don't do 1, 2, 3. People are doing it. I assure you, without ECOWAS, I can imagine if among the 15 countries, more than half will not be under military rule.
Basically, what you're saying is these sanctions do work. Because we are not there, we don't see the extent to which it affects these countries. So if it in, you explain all this, yeah, I'm thinking that if indeed it affects them, they should be rather pushed to accept some of the agreement ECOWAS come with. If you're supposed to conduct election within this period, the sanctions are on. If it's indeed affecting you, I'm thinking it should push you to come to the table and then negotiate for the better.
Yes, you are right. That's why I said after good governance, you get a clearer picture of the whole thing.
So all of us will be definitely waiting for a good governance. For those who say that ECOWAS has failed with regards to dealing with coup on the continent, what do you say to them?
Well, I'll say that ECOWAS has not failed. ECOWAS has rather prevented coups. I think we expect that citizens will understand what the protocols of ECOWAS has with relation to coups and other human rights abuses, so that people will be best and better informed as to how to program themselves. But so far, I think ECOWAS is quite relevant and has put in place mechanism. There's an early warning and early response mechanism that they have established within the various countries. So going forward, we are looking at proper stakeholder engagement. Proper, kind of everybody must be on board. It shouldn't be left with ECOWAS alone to be able to report on early warning systems, but they may not be on the ground for all you know. So we expect, that's why we are down here, so that everybody will pay particular attention. If you know the sentiments on the ground, you can also be able to communicate to assist ECOWAS to be able to intervene in some of these things. So I think on this note, ECOWAS is doing its best, but we can't have everybody whip everybody in line because of the sovereign nation status that every country has. But so far, I'm sure as time goes on, there will be proper engagement and things will stabilize.
Let you know your name and designation.
Yeah, my name is Samuel Dodu. I'm the Executive Director of Media Response, which is an NGO that works with ECOWAS Commission and other institutions, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to promote regional integration at the grassroots.
Now we have two things, easy to say than done. Can implementation. Now, structures are very, very nice. BBR working be a lot of some BBR. Now, implementation, I don't call you. One guy's one some grumble worker can what's with all these things in the grumble. It baby are some of the states in one family engagement. And I'm there with the one guy's what the one. As an organization, not a state to forward engagement. What do you do? What do you tell them? All that we have to do in it, or there's sunshine. Now, my sanction engagement. You have the European Union. Come on, send the European Union. And it's the European Union is kicking very well. A European Union nominee on fata, more than one, or by actual. And you will be free Italy, Dorco, Germany, and not one China passport, and I didn't want to send Genesis, and now one mishandled. But over here it is happening. Some of the countries, Grandpa, African states, Grandpa, no view for Grandpa, there were ECOWAS. It is at least, or you're very laudable A. That was some of the Mukun, or bois. No more manama implementations in Yajima, one family in Yajima, some Rana and Yajima, it is nothing done. It's nothing done. One more I don't want to say.
Share trade in yen ECOWAS regions no yen border na the way work cooperation as when then in your Morocco them were capturing the free movement of goods, humans and as the away when
Free movement of women don't make in Kakachirubi. Uncan and Abricos and up barriers and they don't know Dawson says away Yamaka by a tree. But what's the free movement and my Yamas and Kana Convention or better? And free movement and when you go to European Union and execute another country, you are free person to move to me a baby but unlike ours and then on to them into what Obama do me a working on me. Often it depends, Ninton and your man go to a flower and settings food in a caddy. Says I want to body them crumple them to me. I want to walk to near my one on that stress our film, 1 hour to near my stress our film. What's the free movement on the good soon? Nancy and Ghana for them what to call Nigeria, I'm the Nigeria of Angie. It's as I speak, I'm the casting become position. Minimum crop be one castle called Locky or Honor. That's what is free movement of goods. I didn't know one Ghana for one Ghana one year then. I was on a higher quarters in a baby, one for near my uncle. Into me, I can or your free movement, and all the baby wanted them. I know, it is easy to say, on the actual paper, on implementation, and what to do. Nigeria, in a which is the castle baby or pack one, what's one more. Ghana, 1 hour, Lomo beaters, 1 hour, and son, do never be brave, casting your colloquial. Now you know what's a free movement here. What's your now a free movement? Into a baby, no ye, no more ye, and uncle, other than that. Well, don't fight the Arduino, and Yada, you will paper dona ground level, no, there's nothing happening. I'm out for the bread. And you want your more free movement on Yajima, my set up and go areas be a aqua, a lubono, aqua. A flower be alcohol, a branga half no, but it is almost all about the post. A quite amount for bread, what do never cross all bread, but baby are needy on there, but then white romo on it to go a flower honum. Myself on a brap, so on Bacachero. Nigeria do some dasset example, ECOWAS or Abano. So here we be grandpa, you need to see what I'm out for so many months. I'm out for cast say, a month on can say predator or I didn't know say 1 or 2 a moment, but there any compensation, another insurance between. Oh, this is not happen. But I say you have a body with the laid down structures, policies, and everything. Very nice, good policies, laid down structures. But the implementation is not working. At the same time, they have to come education is also not happening. Education is not helping, and they are saying that they have a lot of jobs and that sort of thing. If you may what's it, how would one person know the vehicle was here? It is their duty to communicate to the people. It is their duty even to bring in the papers so they don't vacancy about it, so people should apply. Then the Panama Meko was only money if you was in location and apply. Into 1 hour work was in paying for the Minister of Foreign Affairs and ECOWAS in paying for Ghana for 1 bomb dinner. Na mo yo be ye ti them work and the second highest donation. Say yensika ko ne ne bebre ho ye nya bi. Ne nya bi dia why should sit down there. Won won donate no aye ne ha ne donate yon hakom. Ehwe in bim theory in business bim theory I say ma hwehwen na edidi ho. You earn before you spend. Now if we are spending and we are not earning anything, how does it work? There's one. mama yensi ka ya tu yam tunguka no me ambo madana nya mode ye